Good morning, everybody. It's Monday. It's holiday down here. We do all the Catholic holidays in Colombia. See, one of the first stories out there that actually was old. I think it's from Friday, maybe Thursday or Friday of last week. Um, Colombia's president is being investigated by the FBI for taking bribes from cartels. Well, let me put it to you this way. Every president down here and some in North America could be called on that one. Okay? Or not, I shouldn't say North America. Other countries besides down here could be called for that. Uh, 70% of the cocaine comes from Peru and Colombia, not from Venezuela. Okay, so Venezuela was strictly oil. There's some gems and gold and stuff in the minerals and stuff in Colombia that Trump might want, especially gold and emeralds. You know how he is. He's give him a gold bar and he'll have an orgasm. You know what I'm saying? But it won't be quite so easy. Uh, there's 30,000 Americans living in, or 30,000 U.S. citizens, people who hold U.S. citizenship living in Colombia, like myself. So I don't know how easy he's going to get around all that. But like I said, everything he does is a distraction from something else. You know what I mean? The war on Iran got everybody to pretty much write the Ukraine off and gave Russia a chance to build up its armies and whatnot for the spring offensive. Because Trump wants Ukraine to be Russian, because Putin wants it. And whatever Big Daddy Putin wants, Trump says, "Okay, Big Daddy, I'll get it for you, no problem." You know? Pretty stupid shit, but that's what's going on. So I don't know what the FBI investigation is going to bring forward, anything that the world doesn't already know about Petro and Petro was a card-carrying communist at one time, so I don't know what the deal with him is. He's not a very good president, and I don't think he's very well liked, but the fact that he's taking bribes, anybody that can get a bribe is taking it down here. So, half the police forces are all under control of the somebody in the cartel, the police programs that are involved. You have basically the national police force is the army. You can, when you're 18, you have to do 2 years of military service. You can join the police force for 2 years. It's better pay, better hours, better blah 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 blah, less chance of getting killed, all that good stuff. So a lot of people do that. But you have two police forces down here. You have the National Police Force, which is the army, basically, and they don't say army, they say policia, but they're basically under the control of the army, and they basically have to see you doing something before they can do anything. They can't. You can drive by them at 100 miles an hour, no helmet on, naked, and they can't touch you. You need the transit police for that, and the transit police are open to bribes. There are more videos out there of transit police accepting bribes, and nobody does a goddamn thing about it. So the best thing I could tell you they could do is get rid of the transit police. But, and put it all into one police force and have it like, you can have the Medellin police force and whatever you want, and the Bogota police force, and you could have the state police, which would be like the national police. And that system would work better, but you'd have to re-educate all the cops because they don't know anything about, the national police don't apparently know anything about traffic violations. And then the same thing, the transit police don't do anything except eat chicken wings and get fat and take money. If you're in an accident, you can't be, nothing can happen till the transit police show up. And I've seen dead bodies in the street for an hour and a half. There was an accident in front of my building. In the transit police are not that far away. They're usually right in the city of Bayo at the chicken restaurant eating fried chicken, and it took them an hour and a half to get up here. Meantime, there was a police station 5 minutes from here, walking distance. They can't do anything. They can't even direct traffic. It's they'll do it sometimes, but they get in trouble for that. It's just a stupid situation, but that's the way it is down here. But anyhow, everybody's on the take in South America to some degree. In this part of the world, the Medellin cartel is pretty peaceful. There's not a lot of gang war going on. You had it for a while with Escobar, then you had it when he was gone, and then you had it a while before these guys that took over the Medellin cartel. 2 motorcycle gangs that merged. And they've been pretty quiet. There's some extortion going on, there's some robbery going on, but they're fairly quiet. You have to develop a new penal system, and the basic laws have to be rewritten if you want to stop crime in this country. But I'm not a lawyer, and I'm not a cop, and I'm not a general, so there's nothing I can do about it. So that's that. Trump went around saying that the district attorney that died that had investigated him, he said, good, I'm glad he's dead. And didn't retract it, didn't do anything, just said it, And that's the kind of man he is. Hateful and disgusting. You can't call him a man. Because his balls are shrunk so small now, I think you can call him a cunt. But he's really disgusting, and this is really, really horrible situation for him to say something like that. I can't wait. They're going to give him a nice eulogy when he dies, but I got to tell you, there's some things that should be said about that prick. Trust me. And now Donald's going around saying he's going to postpone the attacks in Iran for 5 days, give him time. We're having meaningful conversations. Iran says, no, we're not. We're not even talking to you. And this is, again, a distraction of some sort. Well, he'll try and do something behind the scenes and attack someplace else or something like that, or try to grind them into the ground before those 5 days are up. He'll make a major attack or on the 4th day or something like that. He's just, Trump's a liar. Can't believe anything the man says. He's dangerous. He's not the most dishonest president we've ever had, I think. I'd have to check that out, although Kennedy's family was probably one of the most dishonest families at the time, but, speaking about his father, not so much him. So I really don't know what to make of that story. Then at LaGuardia Airport in New York, 2 people were killed when a plane hit a fire truck that was on the runway. Now, this kind of stuff I don't know whether the air traffic controllers or the ground, there's some sort of controller that had to have some sort of input in there that should have been able to keep the plane separate, but it didn't work out that way. They went in anyhow, and they hit this fire truck. So there's something wrong there. And it's the plane hit the truck, which is what they're saying. That seems, I don't know. The truck had to be there first then, and it didn't move, or it was moving, and the plane chased it down and hit it. I don't know. It just doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me right now. But then again, stuff like this never makes any sense to me. So I'm just looking up something. My phone just notified me of something. It's probably an email, and I have emails here, so I don't know why I even bother. Maybe, I doubt it though. Phone call? Nope. Okay, so we'll leave that for a while. But accidents like that make me nervous because I don't. The plane should have been able to see the fire truck unless it came out from behind them and went and tried to go underneath them, which was just somebody committing suicide or something. I don't know. And there's no guarantee you're going to die when you get run over by the plane if you're in a vehicle. So I don't understand whether that's coming from. Um, but it's a serious problem, with these air traffic controllers. And then the TSA people are being replaced by ICE agents who will be armed, heavily armed, vested, masked, because they can't let anybody see their faces because their families would get harassed. Everybody would harass them. I said, I'd harass them. I harassed them anyhow, but, someday I'll get a knock at the door and there'll be an ICE agent there and, I'll do something stupid and won't have to worry about anything anymore. They're just a bunch of thugs anyhow, going out doing what they're doing is not really uh, a good idea. I don't know, have to consider that, the sources with that one. Anyhow, how are you guys doing? Any stories you want to talk about? Because those were the ones that interested me. But there's a lot of news out there. It's not just stuff that I listen to. It's stuff that you can listen to, go watch, see. What was it? CBS Radio is no longer doing news. No news programs on the on the radio, but I don't know how many people still. Well, radio is still listened to in the car, I think, unless they, you can have the internet in the car. You can listen to podcasts and stuff like that too. So. That's Turkey. A reporter from the Minnesota Wild was found dead. She and her 3 kids were found dead in a house fire. That's suspicious. I'm sure they'll be looking into that. But then again, it's all depending on who's doing the investigation. The FBI is doing the investigation. You'll never know what's going on. They'll never tell you the truth. Not anymore. Preservation groups are suing Trump over the Kennedy Senator plans. Well, let him redo the place and then just take all the gold he puts up, his name and all the gold that he puts in the building, melt that gold down, sell it, and give it to charity, Because he thinks that gold is his. There's an outbreak of measles in Florida where they're keeping it very, very, very quiet. That's Florida. Because that'll destroy tourism. Some radio host is responsible for the ICE airport deal. Well, they don't do anything good, so maybe this is a chance for them to do something good. But there are probably longer lines now with those guys, because those idiots can't spell. Some of them I don't think can even write. They're not what you would call the highly intelligent. So anyhow, how you guys doing? Have any of you been doing the March Madness brackets and whatnot? I'm doing okay for a change. Usually I get wiped out the first week, but so far I'm okay. You know, St. John's is surprising me, but I like them, so it's okay. I think Ripatino's the coach of St. John's. He's a good coach, good college coach, anyhow. So long as he stays straight and doesn't try to, bet on his team or anything like that. Okay, that's it for this video. Come join me on the live side. Wow, baby, in about 20 minutes or so. All right, everybody take care. I'll see you tomorrow. Hey, hit that subscribe button on the way out, will you? I'm getting lonely here.